All right, joined by James Barker, James Barker Band here. It's been a little while. I mean, you were in Timmins in 2023, and then we chatted a little while after that, just after the CCMAs. But it's been about a year and a half or so. What's the last year and a half been like?
It's been wild. It's been crazy. We've obviously played a bunch of shows last year, and then we made some changes. Obviously, made some label changes and made some management changes and all that stuff. Which the fans probably are like, "What does that even mean?" But it's been kind of crazy for us. And then it's been all good. We spent this last 6 months essentially just working on a bunch of new music. Obviously, you didn't hear it from me being kind of the first of those batch of tunes. So.
Yeah, and it's one of those songs like immediately that chorus is like stuck in your head. It's like a great earworm, right? So, we added it here. I pretty much right away. If it wasn't the week of, it was the week after. So immediately added that one in here. I want before we get into the new single, what was the decision to go back to Universal? Because you were there years ago, and then you were gone from Universal for a little while, and now you're back. What led to that, and what have you found has been maybe the biggest benefit to rejoining the Universal team?
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like home, like you said, like that was the first place we ever signed, and it just that building right out of the gate for us, like a bunch of small town dudes believed in us, believed in what we were doing, believed in our music, and us as a group, as artists. And I feel like we've learned like that's more important. I mean, I'm sure people listening understand this, but like when you have somebody who like wholeheartedly believes in what you're doing, and just like that's the number one goal, man. Like for us, we just like to make music and we like to make music we like, and they give us the freedom to do that. And people are gonna see that this year too. We're planning on releasing so much music, and it feels like OG JBB.
Nice. Does that mean it's going to be put together like an album per se? Like, you had the EP there, a little while back, but is this going to be like a full album, or is it just going to be single after single or streaming song after streaming song and just kind of let them all kind of float around on their own?
Honestly maybe like a bit of a combination of both, but we definitely like the goal that we've set, with Universal is release more music this year than any other year that JBB has had. And we've already cut, a lot of tunes and planning on cutting a bunch more this month. So and we're writing just not nonstop at this point, which is so exciting for us. I mean, that's what we love. We love just doing that constantly.
Yeah. So I know the last time we talked, we were talking about cover songs in your sets, and you do all sorts of them. And we specifically talked about Sum 41, which of course we know that they've now come officially to an end. Are you going to follow suit and retire the Sum 41 cover song, or are you just going to go harder with it now?
It's actually funny. We didn't even talk about that because we had talked about is that should be in the set, but now maybe we had talked about because we'll generally do like a cover like that for like a year and be like, okay, now everybody's seen it. We should do something different. But you're right. It almost feels like we need to do a send off. But also, Some 41 has some other sick songs we could put in
They
there
do.
too.
Yeah.
So we were talking about putting a Blink song in this year, but maybe we should go back and do another Some 41 song.
Hey, put them both in. Do two.
Yeah, true.
You
We
know?
don't need to be precious.
No, people will love that. I know we had kind of talked kind of like about hey, you should record some of these and put them out. Is that, and you'd mentioned back then like, oh, it's come up a few times, but we always choose the original if we can and that kind of stuff. But like, has there been any more talk? Because I'd love to see like full blown covers recorded from you. You can just like record them from the live set. Hey, can we record into the mics here and get something
I
done? That
should.
way you don't
We
have to
should.
recut them.
We should do that, especially now where you can like just release music constantly. Like
Yeah,
we actually haven't because now that we're with Universal, we've been talking about new music and stuff. It would be sick. Like I mean, even you see like I think Hardy literally just released the like Live at Red Rocks thing like of this week or something like that. And
yeah,
like you can go and do that stuff just like record. It's so easy to just record live and go and release that stuff. And it's kind of like low risk, you know what I mean? Like if people love it, it could blow up to be like a cult classic. You never know. Right,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
feel like there's a history of that happening where the songs you don't expect the covers to blow up that do.
Well,
And
and
country used to be there's used to be so much of that too. Like Alan Jackson, some of his biggest songs are covers. Like Summertime Blues or like George
yep.
Strait. Like All My Exes Live in Texas. That's a cover song. Like it used to be
Yeah.
so common for those like 90 countries dudes to do that.
Yeah, I say go for it. And if you record the concert, and you go back and watch it, go, oh, that wasn't our best concert. You just scrap it and record the next one instead.
Get the next night. If we don't get it tonight, we'll get it tomorrow.
There you go. And you don't have to book more studio time. You don't got to re-record the stuff. It's just there. And the live stuff, you get that energy, right? Because I mean, you got your shows live are energetic, right? They're infectious. There's a lot of passion in all of you on stage, and you can see that, right? So I think that would come through really well on those. And and I think, anyways, I'm kind of on a tangent there, but I think it would be I want to see it. I want to see the cover song, the cover, live stuff. But regardless, let's jump to the you didn't hear it from me, the single that came out a few weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago, not that long ago. So I know it's a new take on the breakup in a small town idea. So what sparked that? I mean, you hear breakup songs all the time. So when you're trying to come up with a new spin on it, how do you figure out what that spin's going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I grew up in a small town Ontario, and represent, and a little town. We had like one bar, right? And so when going through a breakup, you're going to run into them, right? And you know that sometimes that's not even a bad thing because maybe you get back together or whatever. But more even worse than that is you're going to run into their friends, right? You're going to have mutual friends. You're going to run into the friends and the family and all of that stuff. And those situations are always the worst, especially if you're still really struggling with the breakup. And I just thought it was so cool, like having gone through those situations. It'd be cool if you just wrote a whole song about that. Because the other side, like of being like a dude growing up in a small town, is like you never want to be that dude who's like crying at the bar, right? You don't want to be too sad, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
that's not cool because you know like everybody in there, your buddies are there, you're probably there with your buddies, and so the thing that I think makes this song feel particularly like relatable is it's like a little bit of you know t- tell her wink wink nudge nudge, don't say anything, you know what I mean, but please say
yeah,
something. And I feel like that's what makes it feel even more true. It's because you wouldn't go and be like, please tell her how much I miss her. It's like, no, 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 honestly, it's been a struggle, but it is what it is, and you're just
yeah.
dying for someone to actually let her know. And that feels just such like a small town dude thing to do. You still got to be kind of cool, right, and kind of tough.
Yeah, you're not going to live it down otherwise, right? Like it's going to follow you forever.
Oh man, if you like were there like boo-hooing in front of your boys, you're never gonna hear the end of it.
No, exactly. Or her friends. You run into
Oh,
into the ex's friends, and then that just sparks a whole new set of stuff going
then you just
around.
you just look pathetic, right? So gotta be
Absolutely.
tough.
Yeah, yeah. How was the Opry? I think you performed there after we had spoke about the Grand Ole Opry, which is, I mean, that's a huge honor, right? I mean, it's hard to get that gig. How did that come about, and how did it feel when it was all said and done?
Yeah, I think what actually kind of sparked that in the first place was having done the song with Dirks, and Dirks obviously being a member, right? It kind of gave us that just put us on the radar to go and do that. And so, yeah, it's just about a year, just over a year, or just under a year, sorry, since we played it, and it's just crazy. Like there's a few times. It's pretty rare in your career as an artist that a moment is going to be as as important as it is. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that was one where we knew going into it was going to be a big deal, and then coming out of it, we're like that was as big of a deal as we thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things too where, there's things that when you're an artist that are maybe important to you, but don't seem as important to like, your family and stuff. And that was one where it was as important to us as it was for our family. You know what I mean? I remember telling my parents and, my grandparents and stuff and my grandparents, and because you used to be able to get the Opry up here on radio right back in the day, and they had listened to it when they were growing up and stuff. And so to be able to do that was just like one of those things we'll remember forever. And we were on like a night that was like super legit. Like it was us, it was Jamie Johnson, it was Lainey Wilson, it was for the old country fans, Asleep at the Wheel was there. It was just crazy. You know what I mean? We're in dressing rooms right beside everybody, just back there hanging out.
Wow.
It's pretty nuts. So.
Is it nerve-wracking trying to figure out, okay, what songs are we gonna play? Like we gotta really blow the roof off.
It was. I was super stressful because obviously it's a traditional country venue, and that doesn't mean you're only going to do that stuff. But we're like, we want to go and play songs that these people who might not know who James Barker Band is are going to be into. We want to honor the institution that is the Grand Ole Opry. And so we did New Old Trucks, and then a song off our last album called Heartbeat that's pretty country. But New Old Trucks was the first song, and so it's like that will always go down as the first song we ever played on the Grand Ole Opry.
So there was no fat lip cover.
No, imagine. Could you imagine? Honestly, we might have made the news.
I mean, that
Escorted.
would have brought a whole new set of eyeballs to the to the
Yeah,
band. That's for
certainly would
sure.
have. Certainly would have. It's like
Next time.
sacrilegious.
That's on the second performance. So you'll show up and just do all covers of pop
Yeah,
punk.
yeah, or
That's it.
Rage Against the Machine or something.
There you go. All right, well, I don't want to keep you. I know you've been like in interview marathon all day today, so we'll just put it out there. You didn't hear it from me is out now. It's on radio. We're playing it. I'm sure you can get it everywhere streaming is. And you said lots of new music to come this year. Do you have like the next one date set idea yet, or is it still is that hush hush so far?
I think we know what it is. I don't know when it's coming out though. I feel like I've like been like, okay, Universal, you guys know how to do this stuff. If I did it, it would be uploaded like the wrong file and it would be a train wreck and people would be mad, which has literally happened before when we were first starting out. So I alleviate myself of that stress.
Right. As long as you guys have done the recording and you can play it live, it's in Universal's hands, right?
That's exact. I just need to be able to play and sing it. That's it. So
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time, James. Good luck with everything, and yeah, look forward to maybe seeing you back up in Timmins sometime.
yeah, absolutely. We'll be back for sure. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one, dude.
Thanks you too.